Hey guys, Sal here with Detailers Growth. Today I am sitting down with Carlos of Smile More Solutions. How are you, Carlos?
I'm doing great, Sal. Pleasure to meet you.
Awesome, man. Super happy to have you. Today we're going to be talking about SEO, right? That is something that you hear get thrown around in the industry a lot, right? So, first, Carlos, in simple terms, how would you define SEO?
Absolutely. SEO is one of those very scary words, whether you're a business
Yes,
owner or whether you're even a marketer. It's something that everyone says you need. Everyone says, I'm doing it. No one's really doing it. You don't really know what's good, bad, or in between. So,
right.
SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, which the easiest way I explain it to clients, leads, and everyone in between is essentially you want to help Google know what you do, where you do it, how well you do it. And the better Google can know that, the more they're going to show you to the right person who's looking for you. So it's a little bit different than ads on Google, ads on Facebook, and other forms of marketing like a banner or a billboard. SEO essentially is you trying to help Google know you, understand you, and find you. And the better you can do that to Google, then as I call them, the algo gods, they show you to more people who have money waiting for you, because that's when people, if they're searching for you, those are the highest intent leads that you can possibly get, because someone's typing in, like what you guys do, car detailers near me. That person wants to work with a car detailer, so it's almost a no-brainer that that is the hottest lead. And trust me, I'm a big fan of all other forms of marketing: Google ads, social media ads. I do everything for my clients as well. But SEO has a long-term and important aspect in the marketing plan of 360, because it's long-term, it's free technically after those leads come in, and it's working to the rawest and realist ability of what Google does, or as I say, the algo gods.
That is a great way to break down what SEO is. And Carlos, when somebody's starting out in the way I like to break it down is when somebody's starting out their business, right? They don't know what they don't know, right? They don't know that they should be looking into SEO, but when should somebody begin looking into either doing SEO themselves or hiring a professional like you do their SEO for them?
Absolutely. So off the rip, I'll say that SEO should be literally thing number one,
Love it.
because kind of like your credit, if you understand how credit works here in the US, it's the longer you have it, the better. Even if it's
Yes.
done wrong, it's better to have bad SEO than no SEO. I meet people all the time that have had 20-year companies, they're multi-million dollar companies with no Google listing. And they're, oh, well, why do I need it? I haven't used it. Well, times are changing. You either change with it, or it'll change for you. But in regards to when someone should start, I'll say this: starting immediately with at least the basics. And I'll go through it this later on, in our questionnaire, whatever we're doing. But it's free to be posted on Google, Bing,
Yes.
Yahoo, Yelp. So all of those basics, this is where people will be finding you. At least starting the profile, that's technically you doing SEO, and doing that profile correctly and doing the right guidelines yourself is something that anybody could do. In regards to when someone should do it themselves or when you should pay someone to do it, the first thing I like to try and teach people that I consult is either you have one of the two most important resources in business: you have time or you have money. If you don't have money, you probably have a lot of time, so you're going to
Yes.
go spend that on your marketing. If you don't have time, it's because you have money, because you've been making money. So you're going to use your money because you don't have to buy that time on your marketing. So if you don't have money, it's probably because you have a lot of time, because you're not selling or you're not doing it. So go ahead and do your own SEO. And by do your own SEO, I'm not saying you're going to be able to complete it at the same capacity that a professional like me and my team can do it, but it's better than nothing. Literally yesterday, and I was telling you earlier, I had to send a proposal out. I got a lead for my ads for SEO, and the guys start chatting with me, and I say, hey, pull up your business. And it's a hot tub company in Illinois and South Carolina. And he's like, hey, just take a peek at my websites. I made them myself, but they're the basics. I did my own SEO. And they looked like they're from the 90s, the website,
Mm,
which is, to each their own. But it was very cool to see very directly that this business owner tried taking on SEO themselves. And by
yeah.
that, I mean that if you went through a top 10 list on Google,
Or
like what
ChatGPT.
you
Yeah.
should be doing, like add all your keywords on the top, and
Yeah.
then use a picture that does this or this. And they did it all incredibly poorly or unesthetically,
Right.
but it was cool to see a business owner at least try. They added
Yes.
their services, they added their locations. It's not as useful anymore, but they keyword stuff. So they said, hot tubs near me like 42 times on one page,
Yeah.
which used to be the way SEO worked. Which, by the way, guys, if you're watching,
Yes.
it is not what you do these days.
No.
Before, you could just have your service words or your keywords stuffed on a page, and Google thought you were worth a cent.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. Google's smarter than both of us. But yeah, so that's
That is
kind
a
of the
key
main
point there.
differentiation.
Sorry to, because I think a lot of people have that old thinking when it comes to SEO, right? Because they got one piece of information, but it's
Hmm.
evolved a lot since then, and it's
Yeah,
going to continue to evolve. So I think the time versus money analogy is perfect there, right? If you have the time, you might be able to keep up with those changes, right? You might know,
correct.
what to avoid, what to kind of put more time and effort into.
Hmm.
But if you're busy, you're out doing jobs,
Correct.
you're a one man show, right? You don't have the time to really invest into keeping up with those trends. So that there is
Hmm.
a good point. And even I didn't know that that wasn't something that you shouldn't be doing anymore because I'm
Yeah,
not in the SEO world, which is
correct.
why we have you on here, Carlos. But like, I imagine a lot of our clients, a lot of other people out there watching this have outdated information. So great point there. Great point there.
Yes. Now, outdated information is an important aspect of SEO because all the business owners that I predominantly work with now, they are around on the onset of the internet.
Right.
And on the onset of the Google search engine time, that's Jeeves, Yahoo, it was all about as many keywords on a page was the best thing ever. So pages didn't read well. So you'd be looking at a page and it'd be confusing because it says hot tub near me 45 times. And people were doing little white or gray hat tricks that like they would make a white background and then they'd have the word copy and pasted in white font at the bottom of the page, all sorts of tricks. And, it wasn't a smart algorithm back then to see things. Now, Google truly cares about is how well you can service that customer and how well you're communicating what you service and how you service and things of that nature. They care about the user experience. So, me and you could have the exact same
Yes.
business. And if your website is really trash and doesn't communicate that the user experience is going to be a good user experience, whether that's from the website or from the phone call, then Google's not going to rank you as high as me. So they're looking
Yes.
at when how long people read your website, if they click around, if they call you, if they submit a form. Google notices all of that. So
Yes.
they're a lot more in depth than the onset of the internet or Google,
Right.
when you could have a web page with just 90 words that all are pretty much the same, and then that would win.
Right.
So it's getting more sophisticated, and you do have to stay, like you said, on those trends. If you have the
Yes.
time, you can do it. One of my best friends, he started a new company with seaplanes, and I'm the marketer. So I come and visit, and I say, "Hey, do you need help with your website, SEO, anything?" And he's like, "Oh no, I'm been learning about it, and it's been going pretty well." I'm like, "Oh, sure it is." I asked him what he was doing, and guy learned absolutely everything about SEO and was doing
Wow.
backlinking, doing content writing, doing blog posts, doing citations. He was doing all of the things that I have on like literally my agency's checklist that we do month to month for our bigger clients.
Right.
But he had time. He didn't have the money. So that's where it came down to.
Got
99%
it.
of people I talk to either don't want to spend that time or attention, or they don't want to spend that their day learning something new. So they pay the
Yeah.
money.
Especially because like it's hard, right? You can learn the technical aspects like the keyword stuffing, right? Even though it's outdated information, you can learn those technical aspects, but if you don't truly understand the incentives that Google is trying to set up, because
Yes.
you touched on this with the user experience and the user interface, they have to go hand in hand. Can you expand on that a little bit, Carlos? What is the difference and why is it important between the user experience and the user interface? Because I see a lot of pretty websites out there
Hmm.
that I know are not converting, right? They're not, they're, it like the information is laid out great, it's beautiful, right? But like, I've talked to a lot of these business owners and they're saying, Sal, I only get maybe 4 leads on my website per month, right? An extremely low number. So, can you talk about the differences between a good looking website and a good performing website?
Well, I'll go beyond just the website because that's one of the things that people think they get a beautiful website and
Yes.
that's everything. But
And on
Google's
top of that, they're paying tens, well, not tens, but between five to $10,000
yeah,
for that website, right?
correct. Yeah,
So it's a huge
our more
investment.
average websites around $4,000 to $10,000 that are really beautiful, effective, good websites with SEO. We continue building them out, etc. But again, what I said is that Google is getting way smarter than they were before. Before, SEO only meant what you had on a website. But
Mm,
nowadays, Google's most important asset is not even the website list that we used to only look at. We now have that Google Map pack at the top. That's
yes.
all anyone cares about. I don't know the last time I clicked on an actual website.
Yeah.
I look up pizza near me and I click that thing. If they're not in the top three that I like, I open more and I go to the top 10.
Yes.
Things are changing on Google side. Websites aren't the only things. When it comes to leads and calls and clicks, it's all encompassing on Google. The Google My Business location on the maps, that Google Map pack, and
Yes.
also the website. So although me and you could again have the same exact website, that is the Ferrari of website,
Yes.
well made,
Beautiful. Yes.
SEO, informative, colors, animations, lipstick, everything.
Yes.
But then you don't pick up the phone. You don't have good reviews. You
Mm,
don't upload pictures to your Google My Business. You don't have a Q&A on your Google My Business. You don't respond to reviews. You don't
wow.
update your locations. Your pictures don't have proper metadata. Just all these small little things, even as small as your Yelp and your Google My Business listing having different names, address, and phone numbers because you made your Yelp and you thought you'd call yourself Detailers Growth
Yes.
uh, Los Angeles, and
Yeah.
then on Google you just said Detailers Growth. That alone, all those things, if my business is doing it right, I'm gonna crush yours.
That is a great point because even like the way I asked that question was so centered around the website, but
Mhm.
you just mentioned that the website it doesn't play as big of a role as it used to. So that is super key, right? So if you're listening, you want to stay on top of those Google reviews. You want to make sure the information's up. And these are easy things that somebody, even if they're busy, can knock out in an hour, right? It
Correct.
doesn't take a long time to just update that information, make sure it's all up to date, respond to a couple Google reviews. Those are
Correct.
super key, which even like blew my mind right there because I thought it was just the website because a lot of the emphasis with SEO is getting put on the website, right?
Correct.
So,
And it goes way past that these days. When it was that keyword stuffing era, you could just focus on the website.
right.
And, that's all that mattered because you typed in pizza near me and the top 10 pizza websites near you would pop up. But now there's that Google My Business listing. That's what people actually care about. And Google's kind of teaming that up to the user experience and not just experience on the website, but the user experience as a Google user.
Yes.
If they want more people to use Google, they need people to trust Google. You're only going to
Right.
do that if your experience on Google's a good time. Your experience on Google is only going to be a good time if when you're doing what you need to do, it gets done correctly.
Yes.
So if you try and game their system nowadays, it's like the worst thing that I could ever advise. Do not try and game Google. You're not going to win. Follow the rules right, and you're going to go. You're going to win. That's the main thing. And one of my ads I have running usually for my SEO ad is I say we're not doing any wild hacks. We're not doing anything outrageous. We're not going to promise you, top one
Right.
in 30, 90 days, 30 days. We're going to do everything that Google loves and we're going to do it super well. I'm like, I'll even give you the list, which I'll probably put it up here later. I'll give you the
Yes.
list of what we're doing the first 5 months. If you
Love it.
want, you could do it
I
too.
love it. Let's go ahead and
Um,
share that list right now because I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
that would be a good starting point just to know, like, hey, I
Let
am
me bring
moving
it
in the
up.
right direction, or maybe there's some things I need to really emphasize on. Or even worse, my current SEO agency is not doing that. Right.
Correct. So,
So I think that would give everybody across the board a good idea of what they should focus on, or just keep in mind with SEO. Because, man, Carlos, I've heard it plenty of times, right? Hey, I'm paying $500 a month,
correct.
$1,500 a month,
Yep.
and I'm not seeing a single lead come through my SEO or my website, Google
And
My
that's when
Business,
I ask,
nothing.
what are they doing? Because you're getting a
Yes.
lot of people that either know too much or don't know at all enough, and they're just saying SEO as this blanket term. And there's
Yes.
so much to SEO. So I'm going to share my screen real quick and just
Yes.
kind of walk you through just a few of the aspects so you can kind of see
Yes.
how intense it can get. So don't mind all of my other
All the
millions
other
of tabs,
tabs.
but
Real quick though, Carlos, you
yep.
brought up a really good point about how a lot of SEO agencies are able to hide behind the confusion of what SEO is, how it
Hmm.
works. So let's look at this checklist to get more clarity on exactly what somebody should be doing in
Yep.
week one, two, three, four, and five, and beyond.
Correct. So this is literally the strategy of what my SEO team does for our clients. Granted, there's a few things that we don't mention on here because we
Right.
have to make money, but and honestly, they're way too technical for anyone to care about. But let's just kind of jump into the basics. Let's see if I can zoom in. There we go. Um,
Love
let's,
it, man.
it's all right, whatever. Let's go with here. Month one. My team does a competitor analysis, keyword research, and keyword monitoring and adjustment. So, competitor analysis is one, seeing what your competition is doing. And from that, you're going to gain access to see what's working for them, why it's working for them, maybe trends or things that they may be ahead of, identifying different looks, appeals, and just data points. Whether you're even doing an like SEM rush report, which is a really in-depth SEO
Yeah.
tool, or whether you're literally just looking at five other competitors' that competitor analysis is going to give you a huge leg up to at least know what you're facing and see what looks good, what doesn't. Keyword research, you'll use a tool like Google Ad Planner where you're going to see what people are searching in a specific area, whether it's a city, a zip code, a state, or a country, and see how many people are searching that each year and each month. That's going to let you know that in the car detailer world, more people are searching, I don't know,
Car
waxed
detailing.
rims or
Right.
like I know you guys do ceramic coatings. You'll know
Yes.
how many people are looking for these things, and that's going to help you build out a website SEO and also just for all of your SEO because you're like, I want to make sure either on one side I want to get words that are being searched a lot, so let's just
Right.
say car detail near me, or I want to focus a lot of my SEO on that really niche thing so I can crush that small portion and get all of that portion. So let's just call that ceramic coatings.
So real quick, Carlos, I wanna double click on that search volume point there that you mentioned.
Mhm.
So why is search volume super important? Like, if I'm in a market, let's say it's a super small town. I grew. Let's take my hometown for example. Hometown of Hermiston, Oregon. Shout out to Hermiston, Oregon. The population was like 20,000 people.
Mhm.
Would SEO benefit my business if I were in a small town like that?
Absolutely. It doesn't
Love
matter
it.
the size of the town.
Ooh.
In terms of the size of the town, the only thing that that correlates to is honestly how aggressive of a strategy you need based upon what your goal is. And that's something that a lot of companies in this marketing world that we both work in, people don't really dive into. What's your goal? Some people want to
Mm,
scale, some people want to maintain, some people want to just maybe do more of one thing.
right.
Keyword volume is going to give you a layout and a landscape of what you need to do in your SEO plan and strategy to complete the goal in mind. So,
Love it.
if you're going general, like, hey, I just want to be in business and be seen more for the main service, car detailing, you know that you're going to see one, how many people are searching in your area. And you see that there's a lot of people searching and you have a lot of competition between those two searches and analysis I just told you. So, you're going to really focus your whole entire website on being that top dog car detailer. But if your goal is to like you're already a car detailer and you're seeing low competition, low volume on ceramic coatings, let's just say for example, and you have a car detailing business and website, but you want to start trying to tackle the ceramic coating, you'll start building out blog content, building out pages, building out posts on your Google My Business, photos, and really start angling your SEO to also start bringing in this new thing that you have a goal set on. So it's all based upon again your goal and then creating a solution to it. That's kind of how I see marketing and business. But yeah, absolutely. If small town or big town, if you have competition, you're going to need SEO to some degree. If you don't have a lot of competition, SEO is not going to be the biggest thing to focus on. You need all the basics. So, like everything I have here in month one and month two, kind of, you're going to definitely want to focus on because those are all the basics to make sure you're optimized as a foundation. Month 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 is if you have competition and you want to start ranking high. For example, that same exact hot tub company yesterday, and I'll show you some of their scans in a second, but they thought they needed SEO, and they do have atrocious websites, but they're in Chicago and they repair hot tubs, and they only have like three other companies in a 15-mile radius. So they're already number 1 to 4 for all searches in all parts of like the
Right.
Chicago region. So I'm like, realistically, man, if instead of paying me money for SEO, let's put that money towards some ads because that's how you're going to bring in new money. Let's make you a new
Love
website,
it.
and over time, you're at least going to have a better user experience when people do find you. But when it comes to true SEO, you're already ranking because you have low competition. So that's why
Nice.
a lot of this data and working with someone who understands what your goals are and understands what you do.
Yeah.
Really, really matters.
And I think that what you just mentioned sets your SEO company apart from what I've heard from our clients who work with even like SEO companies within our industry, right? It's like they only care about one thing, and it's that management fee, right? They're paying. I was talking with a client, and they're like, "Sal, I really want to come on board with advertising, but I'm gonna have to stop my SEO." I was like, "Well, are you getting any results from SEO?" Not at all. I've been with them for about 4 months, maybe two leads that I can attribute to SEO. Like, dude, what are you paying them for? Like, that money needs to go towards advertising. So that is
Correct.
a good point. Okay. So when it comes to SEO, Carlos, can we pull that
Yeah.
PDF back up just to kind of continue down the list with month one,
Yep.
and then
No,
we'll go
and
into month two, and then kind of like an overview of the rest of the months.
let's go bring it up over here. Okay.
Perfect.
But yeah, so we're going to go into kind of some of the services and some of the main basics, and I'll cover this also later in a small little presentation. But these are all the basics here that you're going to want to do to make sure your business is optimized and you have that foundation for your Google My Business, your website, etc. And these are all the core things that, again, when it comes to SEO, it's not about always. Again, this is why the communication between client and vendor is always very important, because what you just said brought up a great point of, is it working? And is it working are almost trigger words to a lot of people in business and marketing, because it all depends, what results did you promise your
Right.
client? So
Exactly.
on my side, I don't overpromise. I'd rather underpromise and overdeliver. But
Yes.
also I have to make sure everyone understands what the heck is going on. So like for one of our services, we only focus on our heat maps and are essentially being found on the maps better. So I'll show you that in a second. But so that would be like, one second here. This is hot tubs near me, that hot tub guy. So my whole goal is to, expand and increase your visibility. If I
Okay.
said, "Hey, I'm going to increase your visibility," and then all this turns into better visibility, cool. I'm performing what I promised you. But if I said I'm going to get you leads, then hey, I should be owing you leads. My screen's going haywire.
Right. So,
Um,
Carlos, I remember I saw an Instagram story from you. We follow each other on Instagram, and you mentioned a good point. When a lot of people see that map with, it going from green to yellow to red, what the heck are they looking at?
So this is what easiest way to call it. It's called a heat map, or
Okay.
SEO, local rankings, whatever. A lot of ways to call it, but it boils down to, in different parts of a city. So this is Chicago. This is that company, Hot Tubs Unlimited. Literally a lead that came in yesterday. And if you're a marketer watching this, don't poach them, please. But hot tub near me is what we searched. And this is a 15-mile radius in the Chicago region
Okay.
of how hot tub near me for this one of their Google locations ranks. So, like, if you're right in their blocks, this is about a mile away in here, they're 1 and 2. If you're over here, number 8. If you're over here, you're going to be 17 on the Google Maps listing. So essentially, it's how Google is positioning you in different parts of town based on a keyword. Again, SEO is helping Google connect you to their customer and making it easy for them to understand. And this is why: is because the better they understand who you are and what you do, and the better user experience, quote unquote, the lower this number is going to be. And your goal is to be in this top little area, in this area, to be all number one. So for example, again, I use Local Dominator. If you guys ever want it, let me know. I'll give you guys a coupon code, but this is a buddy of mine's company. But let's say the company that I said, Hot Tub Repair near me. So this is the other location that they have. And to show you the difference of why I said you don't need SEO, this is their other location, Hot Tubs Unlimited. Hot Tub Repair is why they called me. And they
Yes.
said, "Carlos, do I worry about SEO?" And I said, "No, I wouldn't waste your dollars with me on SEO for this business." As you see, they're ranked number one in 15 miles. They have a few fours, a few fives, and a seven, but they're doing great. They don't need to focus a lot of money or time or effort on SEO. They realistically need to get a list like this, or what I'm going to show you guys later, go down the basics, and then just
Yeah.
maintain it month to month, which is doing media postings, reviews, doing things of that nature.
Yes.
So that's kind of the difference of when you need SEO, when you don't need SEO.
That is a good point. So this map, I would almost say like somebody who is in a niche business without a lot of competition is an outlier, right?
Correct.
let's look at the opposite of that. How do you tackle SEO when you have a ton of competition in your market?
Got it. Yeah. So let's just go into a random one. I'll pull up a fresh map. Here is a moving company that I talked to last week. Let's just go here. So they have moving company. I think these guys are in like Louisiana, let's just say, but this map doesn't look as great. They do near their house and into the woods. They're positioning pretty well. Woods don't really count because they're woods, but into the city, right here is what I call them. Like, man, you have so much opportunity. So there's a
Mm,
lot of different ways of what I'll implement here to try and tackle this here because they want to show up for moving company because that's
yes.
what they are. So, for example, I'll just trying to remember this over here. I'll give you some basics of how this will affect what I showed you before. So when it comes down to just the foundation, we have citations, which is like you being on other places than just Google, which is Yelp,
Okay.
Bing, TripAdvisor, let's just say. But something as simple as those are simple to see, but NAP, which is your name, address, phone number, consistency, that's going to tell Google, hey, I can trust you. Then you have high quality link building, which is other websites mentioning you. This link building could affect this in the long run because you could have a website link mention you, and I can't see the city, but let's just imagine Dennis something Springs. A company that's over here mentions you on their website, writes a blog about you, then that's literally going to start pooling in that direction some of that SEO juice, if you want to call it.
Nice.
Other things, reputation management, GMB posts. So GMB posts, if you start making posts about another city and start mentioning, hey, we just completed a job
Mm,
in Denison Springs. That's again, Google seeing that word, seeing that post about it, attributing it to that geolocation area, and
yeah.
giving you SEO juice. Same thing with reputation management. If
Wait,
you
real
get
quick.
some reviews from this area and people mention that, hey, Jim came from Watson and did an
Okay.
awesome job moving, Google sees that and it almost starts sending juice in that location.
Love
And
that.
it
And
all
those are
builds up.
things that somebody can do themselves, right? They can
Correct.
ask a customer, "Hey, you're from this area that we're not ranking super high. Can you mention that in the review or something like that?" Right? In
Absolutely.
a Google My Business posting. Real
Yep.
quick, Carlos, how often should somebody be posting on Google My Business?
As often as possible is probably the most realistic approach. Just like if you ask me for my social media clients, how often should you be posting? What is optimal? I'm like, well, depending upon your goals and what works for you. So I have a buddy who owns a barbershop and he wants to go and be more of a barber influencer. So I said, all right,
Okay.
well, Bob, I just recommend you film like crazy. You get an editor and you post 2 to 3 times a day. But if you're a busy barber cutting, you probably can't follow that same strategy. But also,
Right.
you being a barber influencer isn't your isn't your goal. It's being whatever. So same thing with SEO or posting. It's one, what works for you, and two, what your goals are. If you're, if you have the time and you are aggressively based on focus on SEO, do it daily. Do whatever you can. Just like you post on social media at least one time a day, awesome. If you are not that focused on SEO and or you're very very busy, once a week is suffice. That is like bare minimum. I'm happy to see it.
Okay.
One post a week, we're good to go.
Love it.
And there's in my version of business is I always like to try and help people do what they need to do as easy as possible. And I guess I am plugging in, but again, Local Dominator, this one website that I use, this tool, they have a tool that they make all of this stuff super super simple. So like this is one of the barbershops I work with. They have a dashboard in the back end that you can once see all your GMB data, which to most people is
Nice.
like hoopla and very crazy. But their awesome part, you go to media, you can now upload media from this backend. You don't have to be in the Google profile. You can upload directly. You can
Nice.
upload posts back here. And let's use, they have AI, so you can just make a post. All right, you just saw me click on something, and I didn't do diddly. I didn't tell it a prompt. I just said make me a post, and right here it just came with a little prompt about Slawich cut and shave. And then I can now do
Nice.
a call to action. I can add a picture. I can schedule. Same thing with reviews, like right over here. I told them to use this, but they don't. Each their own. But right in here, I can go ahead and add a reply. I can click the little button.
Dude, that is awesome.
Exactly. Hey, Jay Z Walker, thank you so much for your fantastic review. And this is just one of many tools that do this. By no means am I pushing these guys like too hard. Yes, he's my friend. Yes, it's a great website, but there's a million ways to go about it. Again, you don't need
Right.
any of this. You can just go on Google and say, thank you. Hey, Jay Z Walker, I appreciate your review. But
Love
all
it.
these little things add up. Same thing with
Yes.
like the Q&A, and I'll go into that later. Like this site happens to help you out with AI and make it really simple.
Mm.
But all this stuff you can do just as a business owner super, super easily. If you just take 10 minutes a week, 30 minutes a week, you can write your own blogs, you can write your own Q&As, respond to reviews. You don't need to pay any other service. But again, if you don't have the time, you got to spend the money. Like that tool, I believe, is worth 100 a month, and I manages, a
Good.
ton of my businesses that I work with. So it's all how you want to handle it. There's a million ways that I could recommend it, but when it comes down to it, any business owner can handle their own SEO if they have the time.
I love it, man. I love it. So you brought up that good point with that hot tub company in Chicago, right? One location they need the SEO, a location they could focus more on advertising. Can you talk about how ads and SEO kind of go hand in hand and help each other grow?
Absolutely. So there's the marketing landscape of how each type of ads work. There is SEO, which is organic, meaning when someone's looking for you, Google's going to say, "Hey, these guys are these. This is what Google recommends." Then there's Google Ads, which is you're paying Google to be up top. So that's now using Google still, but now you're paying so that you're allowed to wave your hand like, "Hey, hey, I do
Yeah,
this specific thing that you want." Then there's social media ads that are us recommending almost to them saying, "Hey, I think you might want this. What do you think about what I'm offering?" SEO is more aligned with kind of the Google ads type of thing. One, it's on the Google platform. So if it's on the Google platform, if you have better SEO, they don't say this directly, but if you have better SEO, your Google ads are going to rank a bit better. And
I love
also,
it.
I have found that if you're giving them money, your SEO seems to just rank a little bit.
Yeah,
They're not going to admit that ever,
right.
but 100%, 10 out of
Yeah,
10, that happens. And it makes sense. Like if you're giving me money, I'm going to, push you up and be like,
yeah.
"Hey, that's my boy." And Google
But
kind of works the same way. But your
yeah,
SEO, it kind of affects both ways from Google Ads to SEO, SEO to Google Ads. And that's just kind of the clear cut communication between them.
I love it, man. That is a great analogy there, right? And it's like the user experience, like we talked about before, it's the user experience that Google wants to push, right? Hey, not only is this person giving the person searching a good experience, but they're also giving me money for ads, right? So it's like it's a win-win. So that is
Correct.
a very good point.
Well, and the ads will perform better if you have a better performing kind of SEO experience because again, your company, same companies, you're
Right.
giving $10,000 and I'm giving 5,000. Technically, they should be showing you more. But if you click over to your landing page and it's you with a chicken mask on and it talks nothing about the service, they're going to be like, "Yes, he's giving us 10K, but like he's not providing a good experience for the clicker." Compared to
Right.
Carlos's website, it talks about car detailing, how it works, a video of him smiling. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, we like them, but we're going to give them a bad ranking score. So, but Carlos has a better ranking score. We're going to throw him up there, even though he has less money. So it all kind of ties together. It's annoying but beautiful.
love it, man. So just to shift gears here real quick, something that I emphasize to our clients, to leads we talk with, is content. Can you
Hmm.
go into how content helps SEO?
Absolutely. Content again is part of SEO, just like it was, unlike in the past when it was again all just keyword stuffing. It was all about links and keyword stuffing. Now Google's looking at the full picture. Google, Facebook, Instagram, all of these companies, they know a lot more about what you're posting and what you're putting out on the internet than you think. So before, only a picture would matter as SEO relevant content, and it was only honestly not even based on the actual picture. It was based on what you named the picture, like the file.
Hmm. Right,
Then you would add metadata under it, so like it's called alt text, and that's like almost like hidden text in the back end, and also the geodata. Before, that's all Google cared about pictures. Now in 2024, Google, Facebook, Instagram, they're not just seeing what the captions are, whatever. They know what your video is saying. They can see words on the videos. They can tell if a video has you smiling, not smiling. They can see if your picture is of a bush or of an AC unit or of a tree or what's on it. So
right.
in 2024, your content is just as important for SEO as it is for getting likes on Instagram. So, for example, if you're posting on just social media, even Google recognizes that. So again, Google wants to give the consumer the best company, the best consumer experience. They want it. They're not sure of it always, but if Sal has never posted on his Facebook and his Instagram, and Carlos is posted every single day, they're gonna be like, Carlos kind of seems like the better business because he's trying to work
Yeah.
out with those reps in at the gym and get himself out there. So they're gonna give a little bit more preference to the company that's pushing out content. But
Yes.
beyond that, the type of content matters. If it's relevant, if it's educational, if it's important to the consumer, Google likes it. The internet world likes it. And I can jump into all other aspects of social media and content, but to directly to SEO, you pushing content out there, even if it's not on Google, like I just showed you, or I'll show you later,
Yeah.
even on posting on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere else is as relevant. Like there's now full on companies that push SEO on just Reddit. Just Reddit. So it's almost like a PR approach, but it's like, hey, we're going to integrate directly into Reddit and talk about this company super secretly in the comments, making posts about them, etc. And technically, that's Google's way of finding information about this company because it's scanning the whole world. So it's an interesting approach, but yes, content is just as important as anything else. Before,
Yeah.
again, they just wanted keywords, but now if you post a good video on Instagram about detailers growth and it gets 100,000 views, meaning people trust it and like it because it passed all the algo gods, little magic hoo-ha.
Yeah.
That is more important than a very well written article in the past. Where in
Mm,
the past, a video on Instagram, who no one cared. It was just on
right. It
it
wouldn't
was on
connect
the
to the
internet.
SEO.
It didn't touch SEO. But
Right.
this will rank literally, like this post will pull up on Instagram, I mean on Google, before your article about detailers growth will, because it's already been proofed by Instagram, proofed by consumers, proofed by the algorithm. So yeah, things are changing. You do need to do a lot of different things. And the 360 experience of marketing is kind of all touching each other now a lot more than
Right.
before.
Yeah. 1000%. Especially with the platforms, right? Because you might start your business off and get a lot of success with Facebook ads, right? But then you can quickly outgrow that, right? You're
Correct.
getting leads, but they're asking you basic questions, right? That you could write a blog post about, you can make a video about, which is why we push educational content because especially with a local business, right? If somebody's looking for ceramic coatings, right, just in general, right, they're not going to get information about the local business in your town, right? They're going to get information from, a big manufacturer or a big blog article, right? And a lot of times that information, especially with ceramic coatings, is not specific to the products you use, to your
Hmm.
process, and more importantly, about your business, right? It doesn't showcase the awards that you won in your town, your Google reviews. It doesn't showcase any of that. In fact, it's showcasing somebody else's information, somebody else's
Yeah.
product, right? So that's why we always push content. It's super key,
Hmm.
and I think SEO just double clicks on that and makes it more apparent.
Correct. No, and one of the things that when I heard this fact, it blew me away. And they're like, "Hey, what's the biggest search engine in the world?" And everyone knows Google, and then everyone's like, "I don't know, Yahoo." And it's like, no, YouTube. And that's why Google bought YouTube. It's because
Yes.
now video content and people searching on YouTube is the second place you go. You'll type in on Google how to repair my toilets, whatever, and then most people don't click on a website about how to repair your toilet. They click on YouTube. So YouTube is another literal connection to SEO, and that is content. So content is still king in the world, in the digital world, especially videos, crushing it right now. But it's one of those things that you can't lean in completely on just one thing because then it's not supported everywhere else. It's like having huge arms and having chicken legs at the gym,
Yes.
or vice versa. You look weird, you don't work well. If
Right.
you want someone who can dunk, you need to have everything working out. So yeah, that's just kind of how it's kind of transitioning into this full landscape of marketing and not just leaning completely into say ads or just say SEO or YouTube or just Instagram. There's a lot more to it, and that's why I always tell people like, hey, let's just talk for 15 minutes. Let's jump
What
through
are
what your
you
goals
Yeah,
are,
I love that.
what you're trying to actually do, because and this is I know you focus on detailers growth and car detailers. Some people focus on just doctors. I don't focus on anybody specific, and that's kind of hindered my business, but it's allowed me to also learn all types of businesses.
Right.
And like,
Yeah.
so and within that, I'm able to listen to all sorts of problems and be like, no, 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 no. You don't need an SEO company. You need a web design company who can make you a pretty website. Your SEO is great, website sucks. Or I'll be like, no, 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 no. You don't need a website. You need to run social media ads because like you're not going to get new clients in the next month based on your goals and where you're at right now. So I
Right.
usually try and direct people on what's actually needed because if you talk to an SEO company that only does SEO, they're going to lie to you and say No matter what, you need
Yeah.
me. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I do. And, that's not the
No,
case
it's
in a lot of
I
situations.
see it all throughout the industry, especially with car detailers, right? Because the barrier to entry is fairly low,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of confusion, right? People just don't know what they don't know, right? And I think this interview will shed a lot of light onto that. So, okay, Carlos, just to shift gears here on the topic of SEO companies, what are some of the red flags that people should look out for when talking to an SEO company?
Oh, yeah, this is an easy one. Guarantees.
Whoa, okay,
So I like promising people how good I am. One second. But yeah, I like promising how people how good I am. And I'll show them all my results in the past. And you could have in the same cities, the same business, the same everything. And I'll be like, hey, I can promise you I'm really good. I can prove to you I'm really good. Literally, same industry, same business, everything. They look just like you. You're probably going to win.
right.
And you know what? I'll give you maybe a guarantee, only the aspect of I'll give you your money back, but I won't ever be like, you're going to be top three in the next 3 months. I can promise you, you will improve. I'm very, very clear and transparent. But if you have a company guaranteeing you without talking to you, anything, that's a red
No,
flag.
I'm on
That's
the
a red
same
flag.
page, especially again in the detailing industry. Like all these marketing companies are popping up, right? I think we all know where they're coming from, but
Yes.
like the fact that they're putting more emphasis on the promise versus actually delivering on the promise is where that disconnect happens. Is where you get a lot of detailing companies that come to us and they're burnt. Sal, I just invested $2,000 with this other company.
Hmm.
Well, tell me about the company. Okay, here's our name. They're working with, they don't have a track record within the industry, right? It's like, okay, well, okay. And it's super easy to get blinded by the guarantee. Okay, so that's number one, Carlos. What would be the second red flag to look out for?
Too quick to close, too quick to understand, to not understand. So essentially, the
Mm,
same way I've said it like 6 times. I want to hear what's going on, what your goals are. Then I'll make a solution for you. Again, that hot tub company that talked to me yesterday literally is the perfect example. If I was just an SEO company, I'm sure I could have swayed them and closed them on SEO, but I'm not one. That's not me. That's not ethical along my lines. But also, I do everything else. So I said, hey, let me hear your whole story, what you guys are doing, where you're at, what your goals are. Let's talk to the phone on them. It was supposed to be like I call everyone a 2-3 minute call. Never
yeah,
is. It was like a 47-minute call. But we brought on the partner. I now know that they have 2 locations in Chicago, one in South Carolina. I realized that they do their own, they make their own brand of hot tubs. They are focused more on, so at the moment, their bread and butter and their foot traffic is from hot tub repairs, but their goal is to sell more hot tubs, and that happens through the repairs. And I'm like,
right.
perfect. I listened to them for 47 minutes, got the full idea, and then while on the call, I made them the plan of like, hey, this is what you actually need. So if you talk to any company, CEO or not, and they're way too quick to close you,
Yep.
red flag city. Not saying they're bad,
1000%.
but red flag city.
Yeah, and we take the same approach with people who book calls on our website, right? It's like we're not here to close you. We're here to see exactly if we can help to begin with, because then
Correct.
that'll decide whether or not you stay with us for month 6, 1 year. Like we've had clients for almost 3 years that have stuck with us, that are seeing results month over month. Like that's what, in my personal experience, that's what I care about the most. I don't care about making $2,000 in 1 month, quick, up and down cycle that I think a lot of other marketing agencies are seeing in their business. So that is a good point. First one is you want to look out for, you know,
Absurd guarantees.
guarantees, absurd guarantees. Like, so, and like I said, we know where they're coming from. A book, like
Yes.
it's easy to
Yes.
make the promise, it's hard to deliver on it, right? So guarantees, too quick to close. What is the third one?
Let's see. A third one that's a red flag. Honestly, outdated practices and or
Yes.
not being able to communicate what they do to the common business owner or the common client.
Yeah.
So communication in all aspects would be number three. And I say that because again, the most common thing, and I'm sure you get this in whatever you do with your guys and your leads, but you have people who they've been burnt 9 times and they're like, oh, well, no, I've tried SEO. I've done this before. Like, well, what did you do? Like, I don't know, I paid them $500 for 3 years and nothing happened. I'm like, well, what did they promise you? They just said they were doing SEO. And I'm like, well, they promised you more traffic, more leads, more visibility.
Yeah.
Did they say they're doing backlinking? Were they doing blog articles? Were they doing CTR tactics? What was it? Well, I don't know. They never explained it. Well, I'm like, well, if anything, that's on you, buddy. Hey, you spent three
Right.
years and you didn't ask where your money was going. So that's kind of my other big thing is the communication aspect. If they can't communicate what they're doing it, why they're doing it, how it's going, and I'm not saying good or bad. Like that's my one thing why you can call any of my previous clients and they're going to speak volumes of me 9 times out of 10 because even when things were going bad, I'd be like, "Hey Jim, this is not going as planned. This is what I'm seeing. This is why. Here's my solution." That's just how I approach things. You'll have any sort of I'd say 9 times out of 10 on the other side of things, companies will try and miscommunicate to make sure they look good. So for
Yeah.
example, like they're gonna just say, hey, we're not ranking well, but you got 90 calls. But it's like, oh, but I wanted to rank well, or the vice versa. Hey, you're ranking really well, but
Yeah.
you got 3 calls, but
Or
you're
even
ranking really
worse,
well. But
clicks.
yeah, or I know a lot of people who do social media stuff and they want lead generation, and I know me and you are both versed in this. But like, hey, you're paying me for lead generation, and then there's 5 leads, and you promised me at least 20 to 30, or let's just say, and then they'll be like, there's not 30 leads, but there's 50, 100 clicks, and there's
Yeah.
90 likes and 20 shares, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, that's not what we agreed on. That's not what we talked
Right.
about. So communication is a big red flag. So if they can't explain what they're doing, if they're too hidden about it, if they can't communicate, and even if they do know what they're doing, communicating it easily in layman's terms is the most important aspect of I think all business. Because if the consumer does not understand what they're getting, they're not understanding the value of what they're getting, whether it's good or
Right.
bad.
Yeah.
And that's a difficulty that we all kind of face, and especially I'm sure with you in marketing, is communicating your value, communicating your results. It's always a bit difficult.
Yeah. And, just, as an outsider looking into the SEO world, it's like you see it in the Facebook groups, right? Especially with car detailers. You see it in the Facebook groups. It's like, hey, just launched our website. How do I start getting customers? First answer almost all the time is SEO, right? So it's like you're getting all this recommendations, whether it's appropriate or not, but like everybody's telling you to do this one thing to start out with. The next thing is, okay, let me look for SEO companies. And then they talk to a couple. They're like, I don't really understand this, but a lot of the people that I'm hearing are saying that they
Correct.
benefited from SEO. So what am I going to do? I don't know what I'm paying for. I'm just going to dive right into it. So
Mhm.
that is a good point there. Carlos, if you have two more that you could share, what would you consider to be the fourth red flag?
Fourth red flag. Let's see. Man, you got me on the spot going through these. Let's see.
Or like
Fourth red
common
flag
mistakes
is,
that you see with other SEO companies. What
I'd
should somebody
say,
avoid?
uh, someone without any sort of reputation and or testimonials.
Okay.
It doesn't always have to be the
Yeah.
same industry. It's just at least, do you have any credibility?
Right.
Show me that you know what you do. And by no means am I trying to shame someone who's new, because it's not always about having the reputation and being the most well-known guy in town or in the city or the best in the state. It can be as simple as, again, going to that communication. If you can communicate that you know what you're doing, you're better off than the guy with 10 awards in the background, because you can communicate better than what he can communicate. So that's
Yes.
one of my things, is kind of the reputation and credibility. That is definitely a big thing to look out for, because it's just, it's hard to
Right.
find the
It
real people out
helps.
there.
Exactly. It definitely helps. Yeah. And we run into the same thing. Like when we started out, like we were doing free trials, right?
Mhm.
We were like, hey, we'll pay you to let us run your ads. So like, and that's where you're able to cut your teeth and really get those repetitions in where you can learn quickly. You get case studies and then it makes growth easier. So that there is a good point. Carlos, what would be the fifth red flag to look out for, whether you're doing SEO yourself, you're hiring an agency, or trying to decide if SEO is right for you to begin with?
Price point is something that I like to always
Mm,
point out. A lot of these companies have price points that don't make sense. And you know what? It could be my own personal thing, but when it's too low, you're going to get what you're paying for. When it's too high, very seldomly is too high ever truly. worth it in my eyes. I have met people, like I know a guy, extended acquaintance, but he charges like $50,000 sometimes a month, granted only for like 3 to 5 clients, to do SEO for this specific niche. Not going to get into it because I'm sure he could be found, but he does one specific niche, obviously a very high money niche, and he will only have 5 clients. Meaning, if client number 5 who pays him the least gets bumped out by a new client that will pay him more, he'll be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, but someone's going to be paying me, this much
Wow.
money more, whatever." But that
Right.
guy's that good. He's literally world renowned for what he does in SEO in that niche. So
Right.
cool. He can charge a lot. If they're charging too much or they're charging too little, you're going to get the shit end of the stick. Honestly, too
Right.
little the most scary version because yes, anyone can do it, but if they're charging this little, they're cutting corners.
Right.
And if they're not cutting corners, they're going for volume, and then eventually their quality of work is going to be, minimized. So there's a lot
Right.
of reasons why going too low is a big red flag. And I'm very, very affordable. Like I'll tell you my prices later if you'd like. I'm stupid affordable, but anybody in marketing who knows the economies of scale, is like, all right, he can still pay his team, and he's making a few bucks on the side. That makes
Right.
sense. I make myself affordable because I like to white label my stuff to other companies and still need a profit margin for them. But I'm seeing a lot of companies that are charging 50 bucks, 100 bucks, 150
Man.
bucks. And like, trust me, I'm at 3 for one of my packages, and like that's bare minimum dollar. But I'm doing
Right.
one specific service, not like a full plan of SEO. So that's just one of also red flags. If you're paying too little, you're getting what you're paying for, and I'm sure your detailers will understand that because there's
Yes.
always a Pepito or Juan, which is my uncle. Like we live in South Florida, so they call Pepito or Juan any guy with a
Yes.
truck. He'll
Yes.
go do your roofing, he'll
Yeah.
do your plumbing, but he doesn't have a license. He doesn't care about
Right.
quality. He has no reputation to uphold.
Yeah.
Any Pepito or Juan will always undercut you, but are they
Right.
providing a good quality service? Will they have a
Exactly.
warranty on your ceramic coating or I don't know what? But it's seen in every business. I have a
Right.
client who does pressure washing, and he's always complaining that he always sees a sign on the side of Publix that's $49 pressure washing a driveway, and I'm like, well, what are you at? He's like 199, and I'm like, well, that's a huge gap,
Right.
but there's a reason.
Right. Yeah. That is a very good point. So, Carlos, could you share, okay, real quick, what is the presentation that you, I know it's not the PDF, but I think it's the other case studies, right?
Yeah, so I have two quick little presentations. Well, not their case studies we'll save at the end, so I can kind of show
Okay.
you what we've done. I made a real quick Google slide that just goes over kind of what I was going on in that bulletproof local map strategy of what the most important things are when it comes to being a business owner, whether it's a detailer or not. Let me just pop this open.
Perfect. Okay.
And this is, again, just the key things, especially whether you Google My Business. This isn't for your on page your website. This isn't about blog posting. It's not about backlinking. Like these are the things that damn near anybody can do. If
Nice.
you're a car detailing company, if you're an anything company, and you want to at least do the minimums yourself and start competing. So,
Yes.
first thing is NAP, which is simple as name, address, and phone number. You'll be incredibly surprised. You can look up any company that you know that's local in your city, and their name, address, and phone number. You're gonna find out of 10 listings because you're gonna have Google, Bing, Yahoo, Yelp,
Yeah.
TripAdvisor, everything else. You're gonna find, I bet you any money, that one of their things are going to be incorrect. They're not all going to be aligned. And when you confuse Google, they don't treat you nice.
Right.
Simple as that. So when it
Yes.
comes down to it, number one is NAP, name, address, phone. And honestly, it's one of the more important signals when it comes down to SEO. They want to make sure that you're providing the consumer the best experience online so they can find you, talk to you, work with you as best as possible. So this one is incredibly important.
Real quick though, just to double click on the name aspect, how should somebody approach their listing names if they're going from one name to another name, if they're changing names?
Yep. So one of the let's see top one to remind people is that you don't need to have LLC, Inc. or Corp in your name. By the way,
Love it. Yes.
that's something that a lot of people still have, and to me, it's one of those like shake my head, hand on my face, like you're doing such a rookie move. You look unprofessional. And so just make sure you don't have that. Other things with your names, you do want, if possible. So I'll tell you the fully green version, which is Google approved. What you have on your paperwork for your LLC is what you can have on Google. So if it's called, I don't know, detailers growth on Google, it's supposed to say detailers growth. So that is the only way that Google technically wants you to have it. But optimally, you should have the name of your brand or company plus either the location and or service. So let's just say you are in Los Angeles, you do car detailing, and your company's name is Detailers Growth. Ideally, the most heavily optimized Google name is going to be Detailers Growth dash Los Angeles Car Detailing.
Nice.
So
Okay.
that's a keyword stuffed approach that will help you drastically, but Google may not like it. So that is something that I'm not going to recommend to everybody. What I do recommend, if you do want to do that and you do want to have the most optimal SEO, go to your state's business registration and you file a DBA, doing business as, and you can go ahead and do business as exactly that. Put that on
Nice.
Google. If they appeal or try and suspend or say nay, nay, be like, Google, I have legit paperwork that says I'm this. When you stuff like that, and it's not like corny, that's the easiest way to put it, your business is going to benefit from it because now you have a keyword of what you do and where you're at, and you're just really soaking up the SEO juice. But if
That's a
you make
very
it
good point.
too stuffed, so like
Yes.
locksmith near me, Los Angeles, and you're just putting that in there, and that's not the real name of your business. Everywhere else that you're linked to is Jimmy Bob's Locksmith. Then Google's going to catch on. They're going to suspend you. They're going to give you a penalty.
Yes. So, just out of curiosity, what about a name? And then you see this on Facebook a lot, where
Mhm.
they have details growth dash advertising, SEO, website design, so forth and so on. What
Yep.
about those names?
So one on Facebook and all that doesn't really matter that much, and more so it's
Okay.
what you have on Google.
Okay.
It does help if it's aligned everywhere, again, because the NAP, what I'm showing you right now. But it won't weigh as heavily. What you have on Google is what you want to have on everything else, ideally.
Okay.
But when it comes to it, like what you just said, is kind of what I mentioned. It's like, hey, it does help for SEO purposes, but you are kind of in the gray part. There's white hat, gray hat, black hat, and you always want to try and remain completely in the grace and within the rules. But it's also one of those things that chances of getting caught are like 1 out of 10,
Okay.
10%.
Okay.
And I'm not, so that's why I'm saying like, hey, this works, but do it at your own risk. Like, for example, I do have like one of my, like my agency is, I think in one of my listings, it's like Smile More Solutions, Fort Lauderdale Marketing Agency or something. So like, yes, I'm playing the risky game, but it's been up for 5 years and doing all right. But then I've seen someone keyword stuff and it looked legit and it didn't go through. So I just advise my clients, I'm like, hey, if you want the full juice, you want to go this approach, which I recommend, let's just go ahead and file for a DBA. It's like $100 or less, and bada bing, bada boom. Now you can use it legally.
Love it. Okay. So,
Mhm.
name, address, phone number. Got that?
Yep. Next, local citations, which is what I mentioned earlier. You want to have the name, address, phone number as many places as possible. So right here we have for this company Networks, Home Advisor, and Trust Index, and we have tons of other places all around the web on the web. This is a local
Okay.
citation is your entry to a local directory. So all of these are places where your business can be posted. Your goal is for every single one of these, not here, every single one of these to have the same name, number, phone, address, logo, photos. If they give you 10 options, and I think this is one of my slides, I can't remember, but if they give you 10 options, fill out all 10 options that they're asking you. Essentially, you're
Okay.
telling Google, hey, I have authority everywhere else in the internet. So that's,
Okay. So, not just Google reviews, but,
mhm,
Home Advisor,
yep.
Yelp, right? So, those things are super important.
Just even having the profile there is what's important. Those are called local
Okay.
citations. Getting reviews on them is just extra juice that you're adding to the pot.
Nice. Okay.
And that
Love it.
goes next to reviews, reviews, reviews. This is again in probably the top 5 signals that are important to Google My Business listings. Is because if you have reviews, Google's going to trust you more. Simple as that. It's an important signal, and it's something that is simple as contacting previous customers and being like, "Hey, can you please leave a review? It would mean the world to me." It takes 4 seconds, and your goal as a business owner, if you're hiring a company or not, is to make sure that every single customer knows that you want to review. Make sure that you follow up on
Mm,
those reviews. You want to give them
yep.
the link. If you could advise them of what to say, even better, because as we spoke about earlier, you say, hey, if you can mention the city you're from or the type of car I did for you or the service I gave for you, I would really appreciate it. To them, they're just like, fine, I'll do you a favor. Awesome. Thank you. But that
Yes.
little one review at a time builds that trust and authority completely in your region.
So real quick, Carlos,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
have a quick question when it comes to Google reviews. So the photo that we're looking at here, they have a perfect 5-star review, over
Hmm.
200 reviews. What if this company, or how big of an impact could a negative Google review make to your overall SEO strategy?
Absolutely. So this company here, 5 star, 234, they don't have all 5 stars, but their conglomerate is so close to 5 stars that they're ranking 5 stars.
Hmm.
They can get
Wow.
one or two negative reviews, and that's going to be a 4.9. They can get, and that 4.9, it's not as simple as getting three or four more 5 stars to take it apart and take it back to five. That's going to take, probably 30 to 40 to 50 more reviews for it to go back to that running average of 5.0.
Man.
Um, and yeah,
Okay.
it's not just the credibility of people seeing 5 stars, it's how Google will rank you. And it
Yes.
is incredibly important. Specifically, let's just say Google ads, not the traditional PPC, but Google local service ads, Google guaranteed ads. Your reviews are everything. So with SEO and Google guaranteed ads, reviews matter a lot. One of the top ranking signals.
Nice. Okay. So what could somebody do if they do get that negative review and it's just a disgruntled customer, right? How could
Mhm.
somebody approach that negative review? Is there something they can say in the response to signal to Google that, hey, this customer had an experience, but this is an outlier?
Yep. So if it's a real customer, real experience, real situation, chance of it getting removed are very low. So one,
Mm,
I always say, regardless of what happened, try and report it. Who knows if Google's going to just be in your favor that day and delete it? Google's
okay.
been really, really good at filtering fake reviews, filtering whether they're good or bad. Uh, and then also they're trying to be very careful about what type of reviews are out there. So if they mention someone's name, boom, you can use the slander button, and they usually remove it. If they don't write any review and it's just 1 star, they can remove it for it not being relevant. There's a lot of ways that
Got
you
it.
can report it in the back end that may work. I'd say these days it's about 40, 60, 40% in your favor.
Okay.
So always try that. And then honestly, one of the kind of secret pro tips is go ask your friends and family from around town to go find that review and report it as well. Just
Nice.
do the
Okay.
thumbs down. So that's kind of a secret tip that will help. Number two,
So,
yep.
okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, number two is try and fix it. Like literally, go and comment, be like, "Hey, I'm so sorry that the tacos weren't good. I'm the GM here. I hate for people to have a bad experience. Can you please reach out to me at this number or this email, and I want to make it right." And then your goal is to literally go ahead and try and make it right. We did that with one of my
Yes.
old clients, a taco restaurant here in Gulfport, Florida. And on any bad review, which when they inherited the restaurant, they had a lot of them. Our
Right.
goal was to try and get all these people to at least respond back and get them into the restaurant and give them another experience so that they can change your review.
Got it.
And on number three, this one's again, I don't know how legit it is, how unlegit it is, but there are companies that you could pay for to get reviews taken away. They have their ways and their methods. I've used a few for different companies I've worked with. Some of them work, some of them don't. I can't tell you which ones are good or bad, but yes,
Right.
they are a thing.
Okay. What about getting a fake review or like a scam or spam review
Yeah, that's
removed?
so if they're scammy or spammy, you could try reporting them to that same extent. But
Okay.
Google doesn't always take them away, and that's when I've referred my clients to some of these companies, and they've actually gotten reviews removed, and they worked. It took about a week each, and they had about 4 reviews removed that were completely old, completely scammy, and it cost money. But again, that ranking sometimes is worth it for high ticket item industries. Yes, you may be dropping 500, 1,000, 10,000, a million, who knows? But if your company now has 5 stars, you're going to rank a lot better. You're going to make that money back 10x quicker. It's
Yes.
something that to at least consider. It's, nothing that I'm a part of. I've used it a few times. I can refer a few companies, but and it's not by Google's 1, 2, 3, but it does work.
Okay. Real quick, I just thought of this back with the name, address, and phone number.
Mhm.
this is something we've run into with our clients before where they're moving locations, right? They're going from their home address to a shop location. Can you walk me through like the best practices of doing that kind of transition?
Yeah. So it's just, again, just doing it as logically and as transparently as possible. If you change your name and locations and all of that, Google will probably try and suspend your account off the rip. And you're just going to have to appeal it and show them that, hey, I really am here at this new location. I'm
Okay.
currently going through that right now with a new client, also HVAC, also in Texas. They changed their name, their location, but they were trying to keep all the reviews. So we're doing
Right.
first time I changed everything, and Google's like, nay, nay, I don't know you. Don't try and scam me, bro. And I said, all right. So now we're going sending an appeal. Today I just sent in 7 documents that say the business name, the address, IRS, this and this license,
Right.
so they're gonna know it's very legit. You know,
Okay.
when you also do that, you also do have to go back to the NAP and find your other citations and change those as well.
Got it. Love it. Okay. Love it. Okay. So reviews, reviews, reviews. Love
Yep.
it.
So review. Wow, we both can't say it. Well, reviews
No.
are important.
Yes.
But next one, and as I mentioned earlier, fill the slots. This is literally day one stuff that I learned when I first was taught the word SEO. My buddy, I remember in my living room teaching me, and he said, Carlos, if you're filling out citations, these right here, and they give you 10 different questions and options, you fill up each one. If they ask you about your favorite color, fill it the hell out. If they have a picture for a logo, fill it out. If they want someone smiling and your client doesn't have a picture of them smiling, take a picture of yourself, Carlos, fill it out. Uh, Fill the slots. It's something that it's so easy to do. And I'm talking about 60% of Google business locations. I can click around my town here in St. Petersburg, and I bet you 60% of them don't have a description, don't have a logo, don't have their own pictures, don't have their website on there. You'll be so surprised that a lot of people don't do the things that are free and takes 3 minutes to do. And these are the things that mean the most. Everything I'm showing you are the not the 100 other things that can make SEO work. These are the
Right.
top hitters. These are the things that Google cares about. These are the signals that are going to help you get ranked and seen when someone has money for exactly what you do.
Love it. Okay.
Lastly, or I don't think lastly, but near the lastly, we have GMB posts. These could be, again, damn near anything. And this comes out to the same mindset as filling each slot. This is now use Google in every way possible. So if they're giving you an
Hmm.
option to post, go ahead and use them and post. If they give you an option, let's say they come out with a new option or say Google Drawings and they want you to draw a picture of a circle, effing go draw your picture of a circle each day. So Google posts, no one really goes into Google to read all the social media posts. But the benefit of this is when someone finds your company online and they find your Google profile, they'll see these posts here and they know you're a little bit more legit. And then
Right.
Google, more importantly, knows you're more legit because you're talking about like this right here. We're doing their old reviews, and we're also giving
Hmm.
a headline that's about what they're doing, and that type of stuff. Again, you're just playing into Google's system because if you want to play their game and you want to win it, you have to play how they want you to play it.
Love it. Okay.
Here we go. We have another aspect of that: the Q and A's. I'd say I don't know, 8 out of 10 people don't know that Q and A's exist on Google My Business,
Nice.
but it's a thing that's there. And the way it's framed, it seems like me and you would ask a business question and they'll respond, but they don't really care. You can go ahead and ask your own question, and then you can answer your own question. So it
Nice.
looks like someone just asked a question, but it was really me who just asked it myself, and then we answered it ourselves. And in here, you can add
Nice.
keywords that are relevant. So, like, what is the process for aerial seal duct sealing services in Fort Myers, Florida? And boom, we talk about how we do it in Fort Myers, Florida, and yada yada. So here we're adding all sorts of SEO, things that are relevant to our business, things that are relevant to our services. And in here, you can, for specifically you guys in the service industry, you can kind of almost lead people into the services that you want. So for ceramic coating, you could put something in here. It's like, is ceramic coating really useful for me, or will ceramic coating really make my car shiny?
Right.
And then now you can give an aspect of why ceramic coating is what this person should probably buy instead of just a detail. And you can start that journey right there in the Q&A before they even go to your website, before they call you, before anything.
Love it. I love it, man. Yeah,
Right over
and
here.
I didn't know that with the Q&As, it didn't show who was asking that question because that I'm sure was done by design from Google, right? They just want to have that Q&A section. They just want to know what can somebody learn about this business? What are the top 5, 10 things that they need to know right off the bat? Plus, like, this is something we always teach our clients in their sales process, but this helps you get ahead of those objections, right?
Correct.
Price
Hmm.
being the biggest one.
Yep.
Why is a ceramic coating worth the investment? Boom, boom, boom. You just answered it, right? So it's like somebody doing the research needs to know that point of view.
Yeah, it's incredible how simple that is. Because like right now, someone hasn't gotten into any of your Facebook,
Right.
your
Your
Instagram,
website.
your website yet, and they're already learning about your business while they're on their
Yes.
phone, still trying to rank between who's the most legitimate company,
Yeah.
who's the best company. Are
And
you
this
going to trust
pops
the
up in
guy who
the
has none of this, or are you going to trust the guy who has all of these Q and A's already pushed out?
exactly. It shows effort, gives them information, right? And this still shows up in Google, the Google Maps, right? The Google
Correct.
Map app, right? You
Yeah,
search.
it's under the posts in this little area.
Yes.
Under all of these, you'll see Q&A. You click on it, and you'll see all the questions we've asked. And this is something
Love
that, of
it.
course, you can front load with 10 of them. But then again, you just put in your weekly thing. Spend 1 hour a week on your Google listing, and just do everything I'm saying, and even add a new question each week, and your Google's going to start ranking better.
Nice.
Yep.
Perfect.
Same thing with pictures. Some of the key things you want to just keep uploading pictures as often as possible. Consider it a really bad old school Instagram when we used to post anything on Instagram. Before it
Right.
was like you had to be, before you had to be cool. Instagram used to
Yeah.
have like pictures of like, look, my Cheerios, look, my
Yeah.
um. Do that with Google. Post any
Yes.
pictures out there. So I'll tell you something beyond it. It's not just about the content of the pictures. Like they'll clearly know that this is an AC unit. But if I took a picture right now here in my house, my office, and I posted it to my agency's thing, it's beneficial not because it looks like I'm in an office, but it's beneficial because the geo data behind it. Google will now know that this picture was taken at these geolocations that are attached
Mm,
to that picture, and it gives it a little bit of a boost. So it's
nice.
great when it's like in the actual location. So like, of course, I like when before I was working with him, this was taken in actual in front of the actual AC services place. So
Yeah.
it's given a little bit of SEO juice to that exact little pinpoint. But right now, what we do is if we want to rank better in Gateway, Florida, which is a neighborhood down the road, we'll manually change the geodata in the back end of the pictures so they're all from Gateway. So, like this right here could be from Gateway, quote unquote, because
Yeah.
we told Google it's from Gateway. And that gives a
Nice.
little bit of juice to that little area, making in that little ranking sheet us pop up.
Nice. Wow.
Yep.
I love
So
it.
it goes a lot deeper than you would usually think. That's what I got for you on a quick little 7 burner there. Um,
I love it, man.
and
That was wow.
and that was at the top, just the most important signals. I have an ebook that I'll send you a link to for anybody who cares. It goes over like 100 of the signals, all the way down to the nitty gritty. And it's not all realistic for you to do, but it's good to understand what Google cares about because, and you can pick and choose. I want to spend my 1 hour a week on doing all of this instead of doing all the things that I think work.
Nice. I love it, man. So you mentioned this earlier in this call, but you said that you had 2 packages. Can you break down each package and who it's for?
Correct. So let me just go into a little packages and breakdown of what to focus on. So I have this little Canva, me and my teammate, little case study Ruski. Present. There we go. All the secret sauce that we do for SEO. So we have package one, which I call CTR optimization or SEO signaling. This is when you don't have too much competition or you don't have a wide budget, but you want to get something done. What we're doing here is sending signals from all around town. Like specifically, this is a local barbershop in Buffalo, New York. And we're sending them signals from different parts of towns with calls, directions. Also, sometimes we do blog posts for them. But this is on the lower end, but still very effective package. This is our package number
Nice.
one, which I mentioned, $300, super doable, but it's $300 of super effectiveness. And we can see the results literally sometimes within 2 to 3 weeks. definitely over 3 to 4 months, you pretty much are always winning. Again, I
Nice.
still don't guarantee anything. I can just tell you, hey, I promise you, you're going to be better. I'm not going to promise you how much better, and when, because I'm not here to lie to you. Um,
Right.
but
And
here
is
you
that $300 a month or just one
300 a month.
time?
Yep,
Okay, nice.
300 a month. And right over here, you can see how they're ranking for. I believe this is just a barbershop near me. This whole area, they didn't even have a one anywhere near there.
Wow.
There wasn't even a one. And then this is 11-1. Just, they're pretty much one all over. Or if not, there are two. There's like a few little fours. And like in these fours, we're literally able to start targeting this current month of November so that we can start improving the fours to get it into the 1, 2, and 3. And, from here, probably by 2025, we'll start expanding it so that this barbershop starts ranking a little bit wider as well.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Okay.
So that's package one. I try and keep it super affordable so that pretty much any business that needs it can afford it. But also, I'm confident they're going to get the business that they need out of it, and the exposure and the visibility. Then there's package two, which is like, hey, if you have high competition or you just have a lot of people in your area and you need a more full, robust social media plan, and the plan is what I showed you guys earlier, which is this one. Oh, it's not showing, but that list I showed you before. That is 1 second. Our 360 package, where we're covering absolutely everything, not just the signaling, but we're making you content. We're doing the technical SEO. We're doing the on page SEO. We're doing the advanced local SEO and the off page. So that's everything I've talked about, all combined. The things that are hard, the things that are easy. We're doing everything Google likes, and we're doing it correctly. So this is the HVAC client. They have several locations, and you can see by doing the full kind of approach to it, they're winning. The most recent one that we just opened 2 months ago is Sarasota, but even in Sarasota, we already have near their location. They're in the twos, and I'm confident in the next 3 months they are going to be crushing it. And kind of a little breakdown of some of the things we're doing with them. Uh, you know, this is optimizing their actual website, making sure it's quick, making sure there's no impacts that are poor. This one wasn't that bad, 81% to 90, but sometimes most websites I hop onto, they have tons of errors, tons of
Yeah.
situations. And this is usually a score under 60%, and we get them the 80 to 90s. And the next month, Google literally is almost like, "Hey, we appreciate that. We can go through your website, and it works nice now." And they give you
Yeah.
a good boost.
Love
Um,
it.
as we continue forward, so this is a more common thing: the speed optimization impact. We went from a 53 to a 92. It's just kind of how, again, this goes to the user experience. If Google sees a slow website, they know a lot of people are going to click away from it. And they're
Right.
going to just be like, well, I don't want to show that to as many people as Billy Bob's website. That's a little bit faster.
Nice.
And then here is, I wish I can show you on the actual map, but this is an example of pinpointing your SEO to specific areas. So this is the AC company. What we do is we build small, almost blog articles. We call them projects in very specific areas that we want to start ranking better. So if you saw all those bubbles and you saw an area, let's just call it Forney, Texas, and we're not high in that area, we're going to do a job and we're going to add the pictures to it. And we're going to talk about how we did an AC job and saving 65% in Forney, Texas. And now we're going to be sending a lot of different signals to Google saying, hey, Forney, Texas, AC job, we did good.
Wow.
Here's a bunch of blog words. So again,
Yeah.
keyword stuffing isn't outdated or isn't ineffective. It's just outdated. It's not important
Yeah.
anymore, but it's still useful.
So
Literally,
with
aren't well written blogs. They're just blogs.
so with that project, you're getting like a couple things I can think off the bat. You're showcasing projects that you've worked on. So you're
Mhm.
showing people, hey, we do good work,
Correct.
and this customer was happy.
Correct.
You're getting that specific location targeting, and
Hmm.
on top of that, you're educating somebody. You're breaking them down. You're breaking down exactly what you did, how it was
Yep.
done, or key points of that
Yep.
project.
And
So wow.
it's not a Emmy award winning article, but it just goes
Right.
through the basics of what we did at the job, how it went, which it went well, some pictures, and it's again not even for the consumer that much. This is for Google to see it and be like, "Hey, these guys are working, and they're working in this specific area." So we're going to show
Nice.
them and more people in that area. So that's one of the things that we've been recently doing the past 3 4 months and have been absolutely crushing it. And we're able to really pinpoint where we need SEO boost. So like in this town that makes a lot of money, we're not relevant in there, but now because we're doing this, boom, Google's noticing that we're posting in there and they're going to give us juice points essentially.
Nice. Okay.
Then these are honestly, and I already showed you here on Local Dominator, a lot of the tailored Google My Business or Google Business profile optimization. So like responding to reviews, we're posting on their posts, we're doing the review and Q&A management, all the simple little things like that. It all adds up. Here, we're also doing consistent link building for better domain authority, which is essentially, again, like I mentioned before, having other websites post about you. These aren't a huge mover, but they definitely still work. And as you can see in Sarasota, where we're trying to focus on, this is probably the last month she's been doing stuff in Sarasota to try and get us ranking in Sarasota.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, so that is what we do, my man. This is just our two packages. One is nice and easy, very effective, but it doesn't really encompass the whole world of SEO. And
Hey,
then
it's a good
number
starting
two
point.
is a package that we've been putting together for about a year and a half, really refining what works, what's a waste of time, what's a good use of our time, and what helps our clients. And we're seeing results month after month after month.
I love it. Well, Carlos, I think that is the perfect place to end this episode.
Yeah,
We went through the basics,
a lot.
some technical, we covered a lot. So, and I think more importantly, the listener will see and have a better idea of what to avoid, what to look for, right? So, I think this video itself will help a lot of people, whether they're just starting out or they're in their scaling phase, right? Just have a better idea of what's going on in the SEO world today, right? So, Carlos, where can people find you?
Absolutely. Just look up Smile More Business Solutions. You're going to see my big, ugly mug right there, front and center. I keep things incredibly personal, incredibly transparent.
Yes.
We're based here in St. Petersburg, Florida, and Hollywood, Florida. We work with businesses all around the world, predominantly, of course, the US, small to medium sized businesses, but up to corporations. We do everything left, right, and bottom from websites, SEO, ads, the whole nine yards. But you brought me on here for ads. So if you need anything for ads, I don't care if you actually want ads done. If you have questions, reach out. I'm here and happy to
Yes.
help. I'm just as nice and personable as I am today, or at least I seemed as I am. But I'm happy to help. I'm always here to help business owners understand this marketing world that is honestly really really difficult. Every
Yes.
year I keep thinking I'm an expert, and then a year later I'm looking back saying like, god
Yeah.
damn it, I was a fool. So I can't
Yes.
imagine someone who's focused on car detailing trying to learn my world. So yeah, if you guys ever need anything, reach out, smilemorebusinesssolutions.com, or just look up Smile More Solutions, Facebook, Instagram, Farmers Only, whatever's easiest for you.
All right, Carlos. You have a good day. Thank you so much for your time.
You as well, man. Take care.
Bye bye.